Okay, that was the Saturdays with Not Giving Up. It's that time for
Bread for Your Head on Talk Business with Mark Sefton.
Okay, so on today's Bread for the Head, 3 simple steps. It's 3 steps to better decisions, courtesy of Kevin Cope, who's the author of Seeing the Big Picture, Business Acumen to Build Your Credibility, Career and Company. Number 1, learn. Become an expert in your industry, whether it's an hour a week or an hour a day. Take time to study. Take time to just be involved in your industry and understand what it's all about. Number 2 is to analyze. So pick out the 3 or 4 statistics that are most important for your success and make it a goal to track how your company is performing. Number 3 is network. Try to connect with someone you admire. Every week, local leaders or other business owners, just invite them to lunch. And these 3 practices will really help leverage and help you start to make better decisions, because if you're constantly learning, then you'll grow. If you're constantly analysing and reflecting on your own performance, then you're going to become a lot more equipped in terms of what you're delivering. And the 3rd point, which is all about relationships, the more people that you relate to and they know you and you build up a rapport, then the bigger your network, and then you'll be able to be influenced by other people that you really look up to and you aspire to be. So there are 3 great ways, 3 steps to better decisions. Thoughts from Kevin Cope today on Bread for the Head.
That was Bread for Your Head on Talk Business with Mark Sefton.
Okay, so we've got Lauren Riley joining me in the studio just after the news at 5. Really excited to speak with Lauren. She'll be joining me very, very shortly. Before that, we're going to play a song by Robbie Boyd. It's called Brave 128.
plus life, plus music, plus community on 101.5. This is Radio Plus.
From the Sky News Centre at 5, a court's heard the post-mortem of a Russian spy poisoned to death with radioactive polonium was one of the most dangerous ever undertaken. Alexander Litvinenko died in 2006, 3 weeks after drinking tea laced with the substance. One of the suspects, Andrei Lugovoy, a former KGB agent, has criticised documents presented during the hearing.
This is nonsense. First of all, these documents simply don't exist because Russia is not involved. Any document which the British Secret Services will get is falsified, deceitful and foul, aimed only at whitewashing the British Secret Services in this story.
Jordan says it's willing to hand over an Al-Qaeda operative in exchange for one of its pilots being held by Islamic State. Militants have threatened to kill him and a Japanese man unless the woman is released. Gary Glitter's broken down in tears at his sex trial. He was explaining why he'd been convicted of possessing child pornography images, claiming he was in a bad place in his life. Apple's chief executive says he didn't expect the success of the iPhone to make world record profits. Barry Weir reports.
The biggest advancement in the history of iPhone.
The iPhone 6 helped Apple make £12 billion in the final 3 months of last year, more than any other company has managed over a 12-week period. Chief Exec Tim Cook is amazed.
We sold over 34,000 iPhones every hour.
Analyst Hao Zhang says another reason for the success is much better figures from China.
The sales, they saw a 70% year-on-year growth.
Apple now has £93 billion in spare cash, almost enough to fund the NHS in England for a year.
FIFA presidential candidate Michael Van Praag says football's world governing body has lost all credibility. And commuters in the northern half of the UK are being warned of potentially hazardous conditions overnight. The Met Office has upgraded weather warnings for snow. And that's the latest news. I'm Caroline Henderson.
Okay, you're listening to Mark Sefton with Talk Business here until 6 o'clock. It's great to have Diane Clark, owner of Pilates with Diane, kicking off today's Talk Business show. And now we take a bit of a different approach. We've got Lauren Riley, who's a director and founder of the Link app, a solicitor and speaker, and was a contestant on this year's BBC The Apprentice. So really excited to have Lauren in the hot seat. If you want to tweet me and I can ask any questions to Lauren, then do that. Tweet me at talk_business_, and I'll happily put any questions or any thoughts to Lauren. I know that Lauren has got quite a lot of listeners listening in today. They've already been informing me of how excited they are to have Lauren in, but I won't mention it too much because her head might not fit out the door after. But it's going to be a great hour.
So tell me what you see when you look in the mirror. Is empty. I turn the music up. I got my records on. I shut the world outside until the lights come. I'm ready for change. I wanna regain every bit of innocence. Tonight's the kind of night where everything could change.
Music that moves you on 101.5. This is Radio Plus.
Okay, we're going to kick off this hour with Calvin Harris featuring Ellie Goulding with I Need Your Love, bring you a weather update, and then we're going to jump straight into our interview with Lauren Riley, director and founder of the Link app, solicitor and speaker, is on this year's BBC The Apprentice. Yeah, it was Calvin Harris featuring Ellie Goulding. I Need Your Love. Here's the weather.
Radio Plus Weather. Radio Plus Weather.
Brought to you courtesy of the Met Office.
Okay then, this evening and tonight it will be cold and blustery night with rain, sleet and snow showers more than likely. These will be most frequent in the northwestern parts of the region, with some snow accumulating. Not looking too bad. There will be some overnight widespread frost as well that will develop with the risk of ice. Minimum temperatures of 0 degrees. So certainly definitely getting colder. And then tomorrow, Thursday, it's going to be a cold and blustery day with sunny spells and wintry showers. These will be most frequent in the northwest, with any snow accumulation largely confined to higher ground. Maximum temperatures of 3 degrees, so it's going to be a lot colder than what it has been today, though. But in that wind, it definitely seems a lot colder even than 7, 6, 5, 4 degrees. The outlook for Friday and over the weekend: sunshine and scattered showers Friday. Snow confined to the hills. Northwesterly winds will draw colder air down through the weekend, with sunshine and the odd shower possible as well. It's going to be turning frosty overnight during the next few days, so do expect you to have to de-ice the car every day, every morning over the next few days. So that's your weather for today. Okay, so super excited. I know that you guys want me to shut up and just hand over the mic to Lauren. She's smiling. I think she knows it as well. Lauren Riley, for people who don't know, who are unfamiliar with the BBC Apprentice, or you didn't watch it this year, Lauren featured on BBC Apprentice, and I've talked about the Apprentice a number of times on Talk Business, and when I did a little slot just before the final with Tony Sharp from Travel Genie. We both felt that Lauren was actually dismissed at the wrong point, and for me it was Alan Sugar's biggest mistake, and I know that's music to Lauren's ears, Lauren, but it is true, I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mark, very kind of you. I'm really pleased to say that generally the feedback I got from the public, people do stop me in the street, and that is what they're saying, so that's obviously very, very flattering indeed. Obviously, when you're in that bubble at the time, obviously that's what you think, but I'm sure everybody does that. But it's really nice to hear the public's opinion and how they thought, I'd done really well on the programme, and how I had a lot more potential. So it was really positive.
Yeah, because the majority, when he fires somebody, the writing's on the wall. You can kind of call it just before, But with you, it was unrelated to the task, and for me, I guess just through watching that show and picking up little bits and pieces from Lord Sugar, I would say that it was probably more down to the fact that because of your lawyer background, and maybe it's stereotypical in the sense of, do lawyers take the risks of what an entrepreneurial maverick might, because they know the law that well, that it's almost like they're a little bit kind of just reining back and staying safe. And he's a bit of a risk taker, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think that you're talking about two different things there. Would you take risks in business? Of course. I've started an app from nothing. I've gone from a legal background into the world of business, which is the biggest risk anybody can take, going self-employed and starting a business. But in terms of a television show, would you take risks? Well, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I was very privileged to be there. I did put my heart and soul into the project. But was I going to compromise myself to the point whereby I wouldn't be able to practice law, or I wouldn't be able to hold my head up high in a business sense going forward? No, I would not, and I wouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't have thought that on a business format that's what you should need to do to be able to get somewhere, to be caught out in that sort of thing. So yeah, risks in television are different to risks in business, but my risks would always be calculated. And if that's not what Lord Sugar is looking for, then that's fair enough. It's his money. It's him going into business with somebody, so you can't really argue with somebody's guts, which was quote unquote what he'd said.
Yeah, which obviously he's been there, he's doing it, he's still doing it.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to have an opinion, and I think it takes maturity to say, actually, while I might not agree with this decision, I respect it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process.
Yeah, well, absolutely. This is a maturity with a lot of hindsight, bearing in mind, Mark. At the time, of course, I was very upset about it. I didn't really understand. But when you look back and you see the programme in the round, it is a lot about entertainment as well as business.
Yep.
So you have to take that on board and just take, I'm a very positive person. And I do believe, obviously, in the way that one chooses to look at any opportunity in life, can determine the direction that you take. So yes, I'm only going to take positives out of it, and of course it's been a great springboard for me to launch my business, and it was a very, at times, traumatic, but overall a very, very fun experience.
Yeah, because it even in some ways it actually hinders some people, and I think if you are wise about it and you keep your integrity and you stay consistent, then people see that you're not playing a game, that you are being true to yourself. So I think you really harnessed it in a positive way.
Thank you very much. I mean, I think obviously there are a lot of game players on that type of program, but you're always going to get caught out sooner or later. So I mean, I was in there. I was just me, and the great British public. God bless them. What a reaction I got. I was really, really pleased, and that made the whole thing worthwhile. Yeah,
absolutely, and I definitely applaud you for the way that you seized the opportunity. Is there anybody in the process that you've stayed friends with? This is somebody that I've just continued to invest time.
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that it is true we did only get 20 minutes to get ready, the second most shocking thing that I ever talk about The Apprentice in relation is to the people that were in there. I mean, it is edited, it is a TV programme, you are in a very stressful situation, so you do see the worst in everybody, but actually they were a good group of a good group of people. And so I do, I'm going out for dinner on Friday with Bianca, for example, and Ella Jade from the show, two nice girls, and obviously I keep in contact with Roisin and Katie, and Sanjay lives very close to me in London. So actually it was a really good experience, because obviously when you're starting out in business you do need all the support you can get. That's very important. And there are a bunch of fellow entrepreneurs there that are at a similar stage in their business endeavours as myself, so that's quite valuable just to have those people as friends.
And when you put yourself forward for it, kind of was it sort of like, I'm gonna get on The Apprentice, or is it very much, I'm gonna just test the waters? If I get in, great, and if not, then that's okay.
I mean, I always thought if I was to get on it, I would do very well. That's what was always in the back of my mind. So I looked at it positively. But when I actually made the application, I didn't think in a million years that I'd get on it, because I just thought, well, I'm a lawyer. Lord Sugar, that probably isn't what Lord Sugar is looking for. And I made the application, and obviously I got further and further along on these stages, and then I began to visualise it, and it became to look like a reality. And obviously I got it, and obviously I was over the moon when to get that opportunity.
Now, one of the questions on the application is, what would you do if you knew you'd never get caught? I've just thrown that one out there for you.
Okay, you've got some
Lauren.
insider knowledge here. I think it was probably along the lines, it was probably something to do with walk for Victoria's Secrets or something like that. When you see the catwalk models, I think it was something along those lines, or something highly embarrassing.
You wouldn't want to get caught doing that?
No. I don't know if it'd go down too well in court.
Oh boy, I'm sure you'd make a name for yourself. Yeah, Victoria lawyer, that'd be brilliant. That would be brilliant. Yeah, that was one of the questions that I thought, that's a great question. Really get people thinking outside the box. And I've asked a few people that I've interviewed on the show that, and some of them have said it, and some of them have just not been able to share on air.
Well, I mean, that begs the question as to what was on the form, doesn't it?
Yeah, quite.
I'd really like to know theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What sort of music do you like, Lauren?
I quite like R&B, quite housey.
Give me artists rather than genres.
I love the new Bruno Mars song, Mark Ronson, Uptown Funk. That's one of my favourites.
Okay. Uptown Funk, yeah, we've got that. So let's play that, because I'm going to do a travel update, and it's just good to help people calm down, knowing that you're on the radio. So here it is then. This is Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars with Uptown Funk, and I'm expecting you to do a little dance party as well, Lauren.
Done.
Awesome. Here we go then. That was Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars with Uptown Funk, and that was Miss Lauren Riley's choice. Fantastic tune, and tell you what, that girl can dance. Got the travel coming up.
Travel news update on 101.5 Radio Plus.
Okay, let's have a look at the travel then as we hit rush hour. The M42 one lane closed and slow traffic due to an accident on the M42 northbound between Junction 3 for Portway and Junction 3A of the M40. On the M42 as well, one lane closed and heavy traffic due to a broken down lorry on the M42 northbound between Junction 8 and Junction 9 of the M6 toll at Coleshill. The M42 slow traffic on the northbound between Junction 3A for Redditch and Junction 3A of the M40. The A46 slow traffic on the A46 southbound at the A45 London Road at Siskin Drive. M6 slow traffic on the M6 between Wensbury and Junction 8 of the M5. Congestion to Junction 10 for Wolverhampton. The A444 at Whitley northbound between the A45 Stonebridge Highway and Leaf Lane as well. And the A14 Northamptonshire westbound queuing traffic due to an earlier fuel spillage on the A14 westbound between Junction 1 for Welford and the M1 M6 Rugby Road. All lanes have now reopened but just be mindful there is a bit of a tailback still from there. Nothing to report on our trains. They're all operating to timetable in and out of Coventry train station and Birmingham International Airport as well. Flights in and out are all operating to timetable as far as we can tell. And I will bring you another update in around about 20 minutes' time on the roads, planes and trains.
Radio Plus.
Okay, we've got Lauren Riley, director and founder at the Link app, solicitor and speaker, and was a contestant on this year's BBC The Apprentice. Lauren is in the studio and we've had a great chat so far. Lauren, tell us a little bit about you, growing up, because I'm always fascinated by how, the sort of paths that we take and our journey. So tell us a little bit about your childhood. What were you like at school, sort of the things that you enjoyed doing, and how this really shaped you going into law? Just give us a bit of an idea background.
Sure thing. Well, I mean, my accent probably gives it away, but I was
definitely Scottish.
I was brought up north on the Fylde coast, so just north of Manchester. My heritage is mixed, so one of my grandfathers is from Jamaica, and two of my grandparents were Polish, and the other one being English.
Great.
So I was brought up on the Fylde coast. I'm an only child. Though I promise you I'm not spoilt. And my parents always very much encouraged me to go to university and go down the academic routes, which were opportunities not available to them, unfortunately, when they were younger. So that's the route, I wanted to take. But as a child, I was, somewhat of a showman rather. So I would probably say, I was into dancing, drama, very much, on the stage from an early age.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, there are definitely some transferable skills in what we learn as children. So when I was going older, I wanted to be an actress or a barrister. And I think when it comes to court, presentational skills and, having that confidence to get up in front of people. And now I'm doing public speaking as well. You can trace that back to a very early age. So that was my childhood. It was fairly average, save for not growing up with brothers and sisters. Was all very pleasant.
Were you sporty?
I was like a twig. So I was athletic, but I didn't specialise in a specific sport. I remember actually I traced my feminist roots actually the other day back to being in high school when I wanted to be, because my parents. My father and my grandfather being from the West Indies were heavily into cricket, and I wanted to be on the cricket team. And as a girl, I was told I wasn't allowed, but I would still go to practice anyway, and I would still sort of campaign for that to happen. It didn't happen in my lifetime, but I'm sure it does now. So I was more into dancing and the arts than a specific sport. But yeah, I was always running around. I was very active.
Awesome. So it sounds like you were, really active, got involved with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. You were very adamant to say you weren't spoiled as an only child. Is that a bit of a stigma?
Well, yeah, I think, you sort of say it, and that's what people automatically assume. So yeah, I think I probably got a bit of a chip about that.
Yeah. Who's been like the most influential person or people in your life? Because, not having siblings, mm-hmm. It gives you an opportunity to draw close to people. Who did you kind of like draw from, and who are you drawing from?
To answer the original question, I mean, the person who I've probably drawn most inspiration from is my father, because he has always had such grandiose ambitions for me, and both my parents have been supportive, but my dad was always the one that told me if I wanted to do absolutely anything, it was achievable.
Awesome, I love that. Well done, Dad.
Yeah, well done, Dad. Shout out to him. But in terms of people I've drawn closest to, I think if you don't have siblings, you actually tend to replace those familial relationships with friends and people who are around you. So I have had the same best friend since I was 10 years old, for example. My friends I'm, fiercely loyal towards, and I hold them in very high regard. So I think, maybe I put more weight on those sort of relationships because I don't have brothers and sisters. But I do have a large extended family, and I'm very close to some of my cousins, for example.
Awesome. And in terms of your own personal development, are you a big reader? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you go to different seminars?
You know what? And I'm sure you won't like this very much, Mark, being an author, but I don't read an awful lot. I think it comes from studying law for so many years with so many such thick books that I actually don't read. Obviously, expanding my mind is quite big, but I'd rather do it in a visual form, so the arts, documentaries, things like that. I'm always keen to learn, but I'm most keen to learn from people. I love meeting people. I'm so sociable. I'll give, anybody the time of day when I'm out, just, because I think you do learn as a person from the people that you surround yourself with. That's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of London, because when I'm there are so many, I get to meet people networking in business every day. And I think you take something from every conversation you have, every meeting you have, every experience you have in life. And I'm almost loving getting older, because I feel so wise approaching 30 than I did, approaching 20. So.
So have you got the big 3-0 coming up?
I have, yeah. In April this year, although to console myself, I booked a trip to Las Vegas last night.
Have you?
Yes.
Were you and some girlfriends?
Yeah, me and the girls.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Not growing old gracefully, unfortunately.
No. Well, I always say I'm like wine, get better with age.
Oh, okay.
You can use that one later.
I'll steal that from April.
Las Vegas sounds fun.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
Any particular reason why you picked that one? Is that because you're secretly a party animal?
Well, yeah. I mean, I enjoy a good night out, and I think it will be fun. I just think it was. I feel it was significant, marking the end of my 20s. I have had. Travel is one of my passions. I did 3 months over 28 states in America. Las Vegas, Nevada rather, was one of them. So I have been before, but I just thought it sounded like a really good time, a way to sort of celebrate turning 30, which I'm told is the new 20 anyway. So I don't even know why I'm bothered about it.
Yeah. 28 states you've done.
Yeah.
So you've only got 22 to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm very much focused on the business at the moment. So a week here and there is all I'm getting at the moment. But in the future, if I had a few months, I'd definitely tick off the remaining United States.
I've got a question for you from a lady called Ivona Baxter before I play a song by my guilty pleasure, which is One Direction. What advice would you give to women on starting and growing a business?
I think it really comes from the seed. You have to be very clear from the start, what your objective is. And, it's great. Obviously, ideas are brilliant. But for my idea, one of the reasons that people have taken to it so well and that they respect my opinion on it is because, obviously, even though it's an app and it's in the technology space, it's an app aimed very specifically at my profession. So, obviously, I am a lawyer and my app is aimed at law firms, and that's helped give credibility to the idea, to the backing when you're looking at finances and things like that. So you have a very clear objective as to what you want to achieve from the outset, and it has to solve a problem. So there has to be a need there to solve, or obviously replace an existing product, but do it better. Being clear in the objective and having some expertise or some genuine reason as to why it is that you're going to bring that product to the market or to advance that particular service will be my. It's not specific to women, because I think men and women, I think obviously I'm all about equality in this day and age. So that advice is for both sexes, and just it's about self-belief as well. It's having that passion and conviction in your own idea.
Lovely. Awesome. Just going to break away for a song. One Direction. The song's called Gotta Be You, but we've got it as Guter. Guter Be You. Must be a German version. Here it is. Okay, that's One Direction with Gotta Be You. We're speaking with Lauren Riley, director and founder of the Link app, solicitor and speaker, and was on a contestant on this year's show, BBC The Apprentice. So great to have Lauren with us. Now, Lauren, kind of what do you do to switch off? Because it sounds like you said to me, what, this is your 6th city in 48 hours?
Yeah, I am a very busy lady. But, Mark, the answer to that is probably I could do with some help with that.
Okay.
I do work quite long hours, but when I say work, it's something I really enjoy doing, with my own business and things like that. In my downtime, if that's what you call it, I'm very passionate about health, fitness and nutrition. Anybody that follows me on Instagram will see regular gym posts and things like that. So that's like health, fitness, working out, going for a run is very good, I think, and you'll often see me tweeting about going for a run in the afternoon when I get oversaturated with my when my brain sort of clogs up because I've been working for so long. I think it's a big stress reliever, and I'm lucky enough to work for myself, so I can get to set my own hours and take that time in the afternoon just to refresh and press reset.
Yes,
that's it. They're my biggest passions. And before bed, a nice hot bubble bath. That's my
candles.
Top tip. Yeah. If I have time to find them and light them, yeah.
I actually did that the other day as a proper girl. Did it in honour of all the girls. It was after football. I had candles at the corner of the bed. Turned the lights off. It was quite nice.
You know what? Sometimes you just need that me time, right?
You do. How far do you run, or does it just depend?
I'm not a marathon runner or a sprinter or anything like that. It's just a form of cardio for me. So I probably just run sort of 2 to 3 miles on my lunch break from work, or obviously when I go to the gym, I do a variety of different exercises, mostly muscle based actually, as opposed to cardio. But yeah, it's something I like to do.
And you went to was it the ITV? TV Awards?
The National Television Awards. Yeah, I went to the National Television Awards last week, which was good fun. I think it's always, behind the scenes is not ever as sparkly looking as when you look at it from as a viewer at the TV. But it was really good. I was really grateful to have attended the event. And obviously there's some really big names there, and it's all a bit it's a new world for me.
Yeah, was it I mean, I did watch some of it, but I didn't see any reference to The Apprentice, so I don't know whether I missed that. But who was there in terms of representing The Apprentice?
Yeah, you'd obviously nipped the loo, Mark. We were nominated for an award under the, I think it was Best Skills Challenge or some spurious title like that. We didn't win it. The Great British Bake Off won it, but Mark and Bianca were there officially representing The Apprentice, and then obviously there were production people there as well.
Awesome. So you went with Mark, did you?
No, I didn't. No. I went with another media outlet.
Oh, right. Okay. Now, Craig Beasley, I know he's a big fan of yours because we're connected with him as well. And I said, come on, you must have some questions for Lauren. He said, yes, I've got plenty. So I was like, well come and give them. So you'll love this one, though, because you haven't really spoken about it too much. And we'll just get this in before I have to do the travel. What are your goals for the Link app this year, UK-wide and globally? So just give a little bit of context in terms of what the Link app is first.
Yeah, okay. So the Link app is the company that I've started. So it's an app for law firms to communicate with their own clients. So it's an innovative product. So it's an app that you can download from the Google Play or the App Store. And it obviously works as a desktop app for the solicitor, much like Outlook or any of the other desktop apps. And obviously you get push notifications for the end user, so the clients of law firms. And it's about effective communication, being more productive in your working day and therefore more cost effective. So that's the business in a nutshell in its most simplistic form. And obviously it's just at the moment, so I have a product that I've created, I have the app, it is available, and so it's just about iterating the product. It's about taking on board the feedback of law firms and their clients, taking it to the next level in terms of the technology, and obviously rolling it out nationally within the UK. That's going to be my basis. I'm very much, as I said to the lady that asked about business before, it's very much about focusing on what I know, and what I know is the UK, and I know the legal market, so that's where I'm starting. obviously, you know, I'm hugely ambitious, so globally, rolling it out to other professions, etc. You know, that's in the plan for the future. But for this year, it's just about making the UCAP, the Link app, the dominant technology in the legal market in the UK.
Awesome. Just going to break away for the trail, and then I've got another question for you.
Okay.
Coming thick and fast now, which is typical. It's like you have like an hour, and they all come in the last 20 minutes.
Travel news update on 101.5 Radio Plus.
Okay, let's have a look at the travel then. The M42 slow traffic and one lane closed due to a broken down vehicle on the M42 southbound at Junction 5, Solihull and Knoll. Congestion to Junction 6 of the A45. The A45 London Road at Ryan on Dunsmore, slow traffic on the A45 London Road westbound between the A423 Oxford Road and the A46 London Road at Siskin Drive at Talbot Island in the Roebucks area. The M6 slow traffic on the M6 southbound between Junction 9 for Wednesbury and Junction 8 of the M5. Congestion to Junction 10A in the Roadworks area. Also slow traffic on the A444 Stonebridge Highway between Leaf Lane and London Road at Siskin Drive. As well, it's just causing lots and lots of issues there with the ongoing roadworks, which continue to cause lots and lots of issues. The A14 Northamptonshire westbound queuing traffic due to an earlier fuel spillage on the A14 westbound between Junction 1 for Welford and the M1 M6 Rugby Road. All lanes have now been reopened, but it is taking a little bit for people to get through that piece of road. Nothing to report on our trains and planes. All operating to timetable. That is your travel for today. Okay, you're listening to me, Max Sefton. I have the incredible Lauren Riley, director and founder of the Link app, solicitor and speaker, and was on this year's BBC The Apprentice. If you've got a question for Lauren, you can tweet me at talk_business_ or via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/RP Talk Business, and we will ask Lauren these for sure. So, got another question for you. We kind of covered this, so I kind of know the answer, but you know it's not my question, so I'll ask it. So it's twofold. Lauren, are you ready? Was The Apprentice a positive experience? And this is an interesting one. Any advice for anybody applying, as I'm going to be applying for it this year?
Okay. So number one, yes, it was a positive experience, and as I said before, that was wholly because of the public's reaction. It's to put yourself out there, to be judged. Let's face it, is a very nerve-wracking thing to do, and the way that people responded was just overwhelming and really, really great. And again, that continues about the Link app as well. And what would my advice be? I mean, I think, first of all, obviously, the odds of getting on the show are, good luck to the person that asked the question. But the odds are, I think there was 35,000 people applied and 20 ended up on it. So it's about being realistic and taking measures to push yourself to still be developing the business even while that's going on. But if you're fortunate enough to get on it, I'd just say you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You have, because it is about entertainment as well as about business. And you just have to be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, it would be great to win a show like that. Of course, you get amazing PR on the back of being Lord Sugar's business partner, as well as the investment. But I wouldn't say that it's worth selling your soul for, because you have to be able to conduct yourself with your family, your friends, the great British public, after that. So I would say you just have to be true to you, and whatever your character and your personality is, if you win based on that, then that's great. If you win based on putting on a persona or something else, you're not going to be able to last that long with with that ethos. Okay,
good. What initiated your career in law?
Okay, so we touched on it briefly when we talked about my childhood before. Obviously I grew up acting, so I either wanted to be an actress or a barrister.
Which you did on The Apprentice, which people always, whenever I reference you, they're always like, okay, Mum.
Thanks, Mum. I wanted to be an actress or a barrister. And I think the reason I chose the barrister, I'm a solicitor as opposed to a barrister, but I wanted to help people. So I'm in family law. So I literally am at the hard face of some some pretty hard hitting legal issues. So it's, fathers that aren't seeing their children or spouses going through divorce. It's quite a tough job at times, but I do feel that I actually, I do make a difference. I do help people. And of course, I wanted I was hugely ambitious. I wanted a profession that was respected in the community, that, once I'd achieved that I felt, I'd really made it somewhere, particularly because if you go and study law, there are so many people studying law. It's a really saturated market, and you're told from very early on, you're probably not going to make this, which is not a very positive message. But to me, that's like a red rag to a bull. I was always going to make it from being told that I wasn't.
Good. We're similar like that. When people say no, it's just fuel for the fire.
Exactly, and fingers crossed that works for the link up and Lord Sugar firing me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing that people talk about is obviously Felipe's thinking outside the box in terms of the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of people say that was genius, and they totally disagree with the stance that he said, because he didn't really specify that it had to be, a real kind of, skeleton.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Lord Sugar's issue should have been with whoever wrote the rules and not with Felipe, really, because whoever wrote the rules obviously hadn't specified. So technically speaking, Felipe was right in that scenario. I mean, I wasn't, of course, there on that task, which, of course, I was gutted for, because I think the scavenger hunt always looks really fun. So, yeah, I mean, it looked, as I only have the same as you guys have, I only looked as a viewer, but it looked like Felipe was right and Lord Sugar was, fairly angry to have that pointed out. But, of course, it's like I said, it's his decision, so...
Yeah, I mean, I like the interview process, but actually I'd mix it up and have that. I understand why, but I'd have that closer to one of the first episodes.
Yeah. That was one of the things that my overriding thing that I said once I was fired was that I was gutted not to make the interview stages, because I'm really passionate about my business, and I knew that would have come across.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I wanted Cord Littner to read through every page of that, and I really wanted to dare him to tear that apart, because I had every answer to every question, because I wrote that from the ground up. But actually, when I got to meet him on You're Fired, he said I shouldn't have been fired, and he was thoroughly nice and very positive about me and my business. So, obviously, he's the big bad wolf in that scenario, but he's also a really nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome for you to say. I'm sure he's listening. All right, we're going to play a song by Coldplay. It's Paradise. That's Coldplay with Paradise. Listen to me, Mark Sefton, with Talk Business here until 6 o'clock. Paul Simons is in the studio from 7 with some great local and national music from 7 till 9. Really looking forward to hearing some of that. We've got Lauren Riley, director and founder of the Link app, solicitor and speaker, and was on this year's BBC Apprentice. We've had lots of great questions coming in. We've only got a few minutes left, so if you do want to ask Lauren a question, then tweet me at talk_business_, and I'll make sure that I fire that question over to Lauren. Lauren, question for you. Hi guys, what is the one thing you would recommend a startup to do to get their brand and passion across?
Okay, that's a good question, because I think that's really, really important. I think that's a key base. I would say that, first of all, it sounds very elementary, but you have to be passionate about your business and about your brand. And then the second thing I would say is be as close to the creation of that as you can. So when I started out, the Link app, you might look at it and the branding might not be as fancy and jazzy, but it is aimed at law firms, so it's for the professional market. So it had to, I couldn't have hearts and flowers on it, for example, but I would just be as close to it. So when I started out, I was self-funding, so my budget was limited. And actually that has its own conveniences, because it meant I was the one designing that logo, and I was the one putting, this in that box and just choosing the font from scratch. Whereas you could, if you had a budget, go and, delegate that to a graphic designer, for example. And I'm sure they do a very good job, and you may choose it, but it's not the same as grassroots up. So that would be be as involved in each part as you have time or can be.
Great. Question from myself to you. 2015.
Yes.
What is it that, and when you look back on the 1st of January 2016, that you want 2015 to mean to you?
I mean, it's a very difficult question, because, I was so blessed in 2014, obviously not only with The Apprentice, obviously with my legal work, but also with starting the business and getting such a positive response. I want to take that and, make that, I want to take the next step. So I want to look back on 2015 and just say that, the Link app, has gone national. So it's being used by, hundreds, if not thousands of law firms, and, the client, and obviously tens and hundreds of thousands of their clients. And it's making a difference every day. That's one thing. And then obviously with the public speaking work that I'm starting to do now, I want to inspire people. So many people came to me after the show because, obviously I touch on many demographics. I'm young-ish, I'm female, I'm mixed race. I'm really passionate about loads of areas, and equality being one of them. So it's just about, taking that message out to people and just saying, particularly women, we can be in business, and be what we want. One of the things that, people are focused on is aesthetics, and that's something I'm not shying away from. There's nothing wrong with being a glamorous woman in the world of business, as long as you can back that up with the product that you're creating or with your actual business. So yeah, it's just so, if I inspired one person, to really go out there and achieve their dream, that would be fantastic. But, I'd like to inspire multiple people. That would be fantastic for me. And obviously success in the business is always going to be my number one.
Great. How do people find out more about you?
So I have my own personal website. So it's www.laurenriley.co.uk. So LAURENRILEY, laurenriley.co.uk. And obviously I'm quite big on social media. So Twitter and Instagram are both at Miss Lauren Riley. But if you went on the website, you can see a little bit about what I'm doing on there, and obviously follow the social media links too.
Awesome. Well, it's been great to have you in the studio.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm going to end today's show by a song by the Fratellis. I think it just epitomises the year that you had last year and the year that you're going to have this year. Lots of energy and just a global sensation, creating your own personal revolution, Lauren.
Thank you.
Here it is.